This video is going to be a commentary on the Ravens' loss to the Steelers on Sunday. Credit the Steelers for not turning the football over offensively, for limiting risk. That's going to be a phrase or a similar phrase you'll hear me say a couple of times in this video. I'm really going to focus on the end of the first half, where the Ravens mistakenly apparently went for it on a 4th and 2. Tyler Linderbaum snapped the football. Apparently he's not supposed to. We'll talk about my initial reaction to it, which was probably the same as yours. What the heck are we doing? Why are we snapping the football? It turns out the idea, which this makes sense also in the heat of the moment, it makes that the idea was to run the clock down, force the Steelers to maybe use a timeout, think we were going to go for it, and then we run out the clock, removing any possibility of them scoring again to end the second quarter. As you can see, there's 21 seconds left. I offer to you that that's a stupid strategy in and of itself. That's my first level reaction to it. There's 21 seconds left and they have one timeout. What is the point of us trying to go out there and either draw them offsides to gain another down or prevent them from scoring, which presumably is part of the idea in acting like we're going to snap the football and then not doing so? Now, the previous play was completed to Nelson Agholor with about 38 seconds left, maybe a little less than that in the half, something like that. And so we rush up to the line, act like we're going to snap the football. At this point now, we know that the idea was not to snap it, and Tyler Linderbaum has taken the blame. Here's his quote. One of his quotes: "It's just my fault not being aware and putting our team in that situation." There's so much irony to the way that young man responded to it. For me, what I'm going to focus on as a person who's been responsible for young adults, not men, but young adults, and had to figure out ways to take the blame sometimes when it was their fault. I think this is Tyler Linderbaum taking the blame when it's the adult's fault. Here's what I'm going to talk about. And I put this on Twitter, and I think some people misunderstood it, or maybe I didn't put it in the right phrases. Part of your job as a football coach is to create a series of if-then statements whereby the worst option for you is still low risk. Building in reactions, reads, whatever you want to call them, that mitigate risk for your players with the football when you're on offense and defending the football when you're on defense. Creating that series of if-then statements is fun. Installing it is fun because you know what the outcome's going to be based on your input in practice, in training camp, leading up to the games, your halftime adjustments, or even the 30-second conversations you get with kids between plays. It's pure fun, and that's what makes this so frustrating. I use the phrase mitigate risk because sometimes you can accomplish the same goal without the same level of risk. Now, the surface level reaction would say, well, Tyler Linderbaum snapped the ball because he thought that Quan Alexander went off sides. There's a couple of levels beyond that in terms of the instruction and the install. Number one, you can accomplish the same task without Tyler Linderbaum snapping the football. You could have the left guard, left tackle, right guard, and right tackle be instructed if someone looks like they crossed the line of scrimmage, your job on this call, whatever this call might be, it might be Antarctica. In those situations, we would use phrases or words that were so different, so drastically different from everything else that we did. Whether we usually would use colors for coverages, 3-letter acronyms for particular stunts, and then weird packaged words together, 2 syllables for particular coverages matched with stunts to communicate to the kids. And 4-syllable words were reserved, 4 or 5-syllable words were reserved for those unique situations like this one. So it's a one-word communication that you can put out to the guys, and they know you've practiced it for 2 months. You don't practice it every day, but you've done it enough that at this point in week 5, you only need to talk about it or practice it maybe twice over a given week. Antarctica means we're going to line up. Under no circumstances is the center going to snap the football. Now, some people would say, well, if they jump, don't you want them to snap it? Now we get a free play. Look at our defense, guys. How was our defense playing at this point of the game? We got 2 stops to open the third quarter. You don't need a touchdown in this situation. That is not a very talented Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They played well. Jaylen Warren gave them a spark in the second half. George Pickens played his butt off. Credit to him. Kenny Pickett, second year in a row, made a big throw to beat us. You gotta tip your cap to him. He's beaten us twice in a row. Having said that, at this point in the game, 13-3 is like 20-3. 16 points wins this game on Sunday, even though the Steelers finished with 17. 16 points in the third quarter finishes this football game. And in my opinion, the original install of it is flawed. And that's my point. When you install things, whatever your job is, whatever your profession is, you want to try to accomplish the highest level outcome, output, or goal with the lowest level risk. The lowest level risk is, Tyler, you never snap the football. That's not an instruction given to him on the sideline. That's something that's installed in late July. And it's foundational. It's a wall that you cannot go past, Tyler. You're not going to snap the football. Everybody else can move if the defense crosses the line. Now we can accomplish our goal of getting a first down. We, as you see on the screen, have one timeout left, so maybe we can run one more play to try to get a touchdown. Great. Mitigating risk doesn't mean I'm going to run the ball in every circumstance to limit the possibility of an interception or whatever. This particular install is a very specific situation of which there are probably 500 of these in an NFL season. It's impossible for coaches to have all of those situations covered unless your name is Bill Belichick and it's 2000 to 2018 when he won 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 Super Bowls, whatever it was. But Tyler Linderbaum and Coach Harbaugh have admitted Sunday night that the design of this or the intention of this was to potentially draw them off sides and not snap the football. Linderbaum thought someone went into the neutral zone. Why would he do that? Because no one's told him not to. Again, it's a series of if-then statements. It's very clear. You talk to the left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. When we call Antarctica, whatever it is, I've been reading a book about Antarctica, so that's where it came from. When we call Antarctica, the only people that are allowed to move is the right guard, right tackle, left guard, left tackle. The center can't move. And you find some kind of way, we could use a better word or a better phrase than Antarctica, but you find some kind of word or phrase that lets the center know you are the thing that cannot be moved. You are immobile in this situation. You're a wall. Everyone else is flexible. You can move if someone, because we're not risking anything. We're not risking turning the football over and losing 3 points. So when you combine this with the interception on the 3rd and 5, or 3rd and goal from the 5 to OBJ, which was was a poor decision by Lamar, it was a poor throw. When you combine those two things, it appears as if there's 8 or 9 or 10 things that the coaches did wrong. For you may say, well, the players dropped the ball multiple times. They did. Lamar made a bad decision. He did. For me, as a coach who's been responsible for dozens of people, generally 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who are dealing with a bunch of BS in their life, so you got to make things streamlined for them and let them grow, sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly, and sometimes all of a sudden they realize, oh, I understand why you have 4 or 5 syllables for these things, these unique circumstances, versus these other things that are quick, 1 syllable, 2 syllables, or a 3-letter acronym, NBA, or whatever it is. They start to make connections, and my point is Tyler Linderbaum is a smart dude. He wouldn't have snapped that football if it hadn't been made clear to him at some point, you're allowed to do this. If they cross into the line of scrimmage, then you snap the football, and we have a free play at worst, and at best, maybe we get a touchdown. And I think that is a marker that a lot of our install, a lot of our procedural things do not mitigate risk. That may be a hardball thing. It certainly seems like it to me. Some of it may be related to Todd Monken. Some of it may be related to Lamar Jackson. It may be the combination of those 3 guys at the same time. Who knows? But we've seen enough of this since 2021, for me anyway, to conclude that this is a John Harbaugh thing. Mitigating risk at some point, you have to have calls, phrases, words to the players to let them know we are now in a different mode. We're not in attack mode right now. We are changing gears, and we're going to minimize the risk to zero, but allow our reward, instead of being a 3% reward, a hard count from Lamar maybe is, possibly going to draw someone off sides. But if we can't snap the football, what's the reward? Well, then a player could move, our left guard, left tackle, or someone, to now enforce the referees to make a call, either a false start on us and we lose 5 yards and Justin Tucker kicks a 47-yarder instead of 42-yarder, or we get a new series of downs. You let me know what you think of the thought process. I've been there before. Multiple guys made mistakes yesterday. Tyler Linderbaum, to his credit, took the blame for this one. I don't believe it. And he's accurate with what he said. But my point is, there's another level of install. There's another level of responsibility as a coach that you take not on Sunday, October 8th, that you take in the planning of it in late July or early August, because these circumstances right here, you want to remove the possibility of that ever happening to you and the 24-year-old player that you're responsible for. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. This moment to me is another marker, another indication that some of the ways we've installed things already have possibly set us up for failure in these unique situations that we face over the course of a 17-game season. We've seen enough of them now, I feel like, for the last 2.5, 3 years to indicate there's some design flaws. You guys let me know what you think of my thoughts. It was clearly an attempt for me to just comment on what happened Sunday, focusing on this incident, which I believe was important, going into half up 13-3, which we know could have very easily been 17-3 if Mark Andrews or Rashad Bateman catches a football in the end zone. I get it. So they deserve blame as well. This was my focus on something I have personal experience in, with thinking of ways to remove the possibility that players have to take blame, while hopefully focusing most of the potential blame on yourself, because that's your job when you're the coach. Appreciate you guys' time.